welcome. You're watching NDTV World. Let's take a look at what's making news from across the world. Prime Minister Modi heads to France today. He's set to co-chair the AI summit. In the latest trade escalation from Donald Trump, he says he will announce 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports. Donald Trump doubles down on plans to redevelop Gaza. US President says he's committed to buying and owning Gaza. Israeli military has withdrawn from Netzarim corridor in Gaza. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's party has ruled out government talks. The PTI has held massive Black Day protests in Pakistan. Prime Minister Modi is set to co-chair the upcoming Artificial Intelligence Action Summit in Paris on the 11th of February, highlighting India's growing influence on the global stage. This visit marks a significant milestone in India's engagement with global artificial intelligence initiatives. The summit aims to establish guiding principles for AI, focusing on ethical, democratic and environmentally sustainable use as well. Take a look at this report highlighting why India could lead the global AI race.
The AI Action Summit in Paris will witness Prime Minister Modi alongside French President Emmanuel Macron, US Vice President J.D. Vance and Chinese Vice Prime Minister at the helm, shaping conversations that will steer the future of AI development. The summit aims to ensure that AI evolves with an ethical, sustainable and inclusive approach.
It's a major AI summit, and India would be the co-chair of this summit along with France. India and France, of course, have a deep strategic partnership, as you're aware, and the significance of this visit is that India would be bringing to the table the concerns from the global south, that we would like the AI tools to be safe, to be trustworthy, to be secure, that there should not be any concentration of these tools in a particular geography or in a particular set of corporate sector.
India's participation marks a key turning point in the nation's technological journey as it accelerates towards becoming a leader in the global AI race. With an eye on innovation and progress, India is already adopting AI to better deliver social services, improve public infrastructure and enhance healthcare services. With a $1.25 billion AI mission and a skilled workforce, India has all it takes to be a global AI leader. This collaboration could open new doors for Indian economy, pushing it further into the realm of tech-enabled manufacturing and next-gen industries. Unlike China, where the DeepSeek's AI models seem to be linked to the state machinery, or OpenAI's ChatGPT models, where profit is the only guiding force, India can create the right balance. Just like its digital public infrastructure, the UPI and the BHIM app, which have now become the backbone for global digital financing models for the global south, India's AI models can create the ideal balance between the two extremes of US and China, one driven only by profit and other primarily meant for state control. As the world fast forwards to the future, India's private sector is showing immense promise. Bhavish Agarwal's AI entity Krutrim is in advanced stages of creating a supercomputer that could leapfrog India into the supercomputing league. And unlike the Western AI models, India can lead the global south in creating cost-efficient supercomputing that can be replicated by poorer countries around the world. The AI revolution is underway, and as the world barrels down the digital highway, India is firmly in the driver's seat, ready to lead the way. Bureau Report, NDTV.
My colleague Pardeep Banod brings us this report from Paris.
Greetings from Paris. I'm Pardeep Banod and I'm standing in front of the Bibliothèque François Mitterrand, which has been at the center of culture and AI over this past weekend, all in the lead up to today. It's going to be a really exciting Monday for Paris as the city hosts the third edition of the Artificial Intelligence Summit. The event will be held over the course of 2 days, and over 80 heads of states are expected to be in attendance here in the French capital. Now, while France is chairing the event, India is going to be the co-chair, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to arrive in France late Monday evening. The summit is crucial because it brings together stakeholders from the public and the private onto one single platform. CEOs of some of the world's largest AI and tech companies such as OpenAI are going to be attending the summit alongside world leaders. Global governance, regulations, innovation and creativity in the AI sector are some of the themes that are going to be discussed, but the priority really is on safe use and development of AI, and the challenge is going to be getting all the stakeholders on the same page. For India, on the one hand, there is the responsibility of representing the global south in the field of AI, and on the other, ensuring investments in the Indian AI market, especially when it comes to research and development. There has been a lot of buzz about China's DeepSeek, and the US's stance is still unclear. France, of course, hopes to establish itself as a leader in the global AI sector. And on the other hand, you have the UK, which is not going to be attending the summit, despite the fact that it is ranked as one of the top 5 nations when it comes to investments in the AI sector. Given this backdrop, geopolitical events that have been unfolding over the last 1 month, it's going to be really interesting to see where this summit ends up and whether or not it can truly be called a success. This TV from Paris.
US President Donald Trump says he'll announce that the United States will impose 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports, including from Canada and Mexico, as well as other import duties later in the week. He also reaffirmed that he'll announce quote-unquote reciprocal tariffs probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. That would mean that the US would impose import duties on products in cases where another country has levied duties on American goods. Now, Trump spoke to reporters aboard Air Force One as he flew from Florida to attend the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Top Trump administration officials are openly questioning the judiciary's authority to serve as a check or executive power as the new president's sweeping agenda faces growing pushback from the courts. Now, Trump also weighed in, saying, quote-unquote, "We're very disappointed with the judges that would make such a ruling, but we have a long way to go."
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site.
I'm being joined by author and journalist Ray Locker, joining us from Washington. Now, Mr. Locker, Trump's decision to impose tariff on all steel and aluminium imports could have serious trade repercussions.
Oh, absolutely. It's highly inflationary. So it not only does it drive up the cost of any kind of imported steel or aluminum, but it means that any aluminum from or steel that comes from the United States, that'll become more expensive too, as more people try to go toward those sources for steel and aluminum. That means there's be a shortage, and then laws of supply and demand dictate that prices will probably go up.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us and sharing those thoughts with us on this development. US President Donald Trump has doubled down on his plan to take ownership of Gaza as he flew to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. He told reporters, and I quote, "I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as US rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it." He said that Arab nations would agree to take in Palestinians after speaking with him, and insisted that Palestinians would leave Gaza if they had a choice. He said that he watched the hostages come back and that they looked like Holocaust survivors. He also said that they were in a horrible condition and they were emaciated.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site. It'll be, the remainder will be demolished.
Now, the Israeli military completed its withdrawal from the Netzarim corridor on a key highway in Gaza as part of the ongoing ceasefire deal. Now, Hamas said that Israeli forces have dismantled their positions and military posts and completely withdrawn their tanks from the Netzarim corridor, allowing vehicles to pass freely in both directions. Now, remember, the so-called Netzarim corridor refers to a strip of land that cut off northern Gaza from the rest of the strip, and according to the ceasefire agreement, the deadline for withdrawal was February 9th.
In yet another move as part of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, Israeli troops have withdrawn from the Netzarim corridor, a key military zone cutting off the north of the Gaza Strip from the south. Israel's deployment in the corridor cut off Gaza's northern communities, such as Gaza City, from the southern part of the territory. With IDF troops out of the 6-kilometer-long Netzarim corridor, which stretches to the Mediterranean Sea, hundreds of Palestinians in cars and on carts have begun returning to northern Gaza, to scenes of utter destruction. While the withdrawal signals that ceasefire terms are still being carried out, an extension of the truce is still unclear. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces heavy pressure from his far-right political allies to resume the war, with reports indicating that the Israeli leader is aiming to delay talks on the second phase in Doha, further threatening the completion of the first phase. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes continue to rock West Bank as the IDF expanded its operations into the region. Back home, in capital Tel Aviv, hostage families continue to protest on the street, demanding Netanyahu to extend the ceasefire beyond its current 6-week phase. While US President Donald Trump's recent remarks on the future of Gaza sparked outrage across the globe, many see Trump's return to the Oval Office the reason behind the return of hostages and are now urging the US president to help speed up the release of the remaining hostages.
We need help. It's in your hands, President Trump. We need your help. We need to bring them back and start and finish this war. We can't keep this war anymore. We have no power anymore, and we have no future just in wars. We need a way to finish it, and please do it for us.
With much of the northern Gaza left a wasteland after Israel's military campaigns, many Gazans have returned home to the south after finding their homes destroyed, while others have accepted their new fate and set up tents where their homes once stood. With weeks to go until the end of the first phase of the ceasefire, only time will tell what lies ahead for the people of Gaza. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
US President Donald Trump has claimed that he has already had one or more phone conversations about ending Moscow's war in Ukraine with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, who Trump says, quote-unquote, wants to see people stop dying. Now, Trump indicated that both leaders had been in contact. That would mark the first officially acknowledged conversation between Putin and a US president since early 2022. Now, the Kremlin has declined to confirm or deny a US report of a phone call between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, Washington and Moscow have not officially confirmed any communication between the leaders since Trump took office on a pledge to swiftly end the Ukraine fighting. Remember, Trump has repeatedly said that he wants to end the war and that he would meet with Putin to discuss it, though the date or venue for such a meeting has not been announced yet. We'll bring you more on these stories. For now, a short break.
Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV. always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025. Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025. Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's party PTI rejected the possibility of dialogue with the government of PM Shehbaz Sharif. PTI's leader of opposition said that the chapters of talks is now closed. He added that the government had failed to fulfill basic commitments necessary for the resumption of negotiations. Amid a deadlock in the talks, the PTI had held massive black tape protests across Pakistan on the 8th of February, citing alleged rigging of the general elections last year. The Pakistani government has even imposed Section 144 across the Punjab province, banning all political assemblies, gatherings, sit-ins and rallies. One person has died and 29 others are missing after a massive landslide hit China's southwestern Sichuan province. Rescue operations are underway after this particular landslide had buried several houses. The disaster, triggered by heavy rainfall and geological instability, struck a village in Hulian County, forcing the evacuation of hundreds of residents. A command center has been set up at the scene, according to the statement by the country's Emergency Management Bureau. China's President Xi Jinping has ordered an all-out rescue of those trapped. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un criticized trilateral military cooperation among the United States, Japan and South Korea for raising tensions in the region and vowed countermeasures, including the further development of nuclear forces. Now, Kim said U.S. deployments of nuclear strategic assets, war exercises and military cooperation with Japan and South Korea were inviting military imbalance in the region and raising a grave challenge to the security environment. My colleague Vishal joins us with more details. Vishal, now Kim Jong-un has actually made a threat of nuclear retaliation if the military cohesiveness with US, Japan and South Korea were to continue.
So what he's exactly said is that there will be countermeasures in the Korean Peninsula if the US alliance with Japan and Korea goes ahead with its nuclear simulation exercises that's been going on. The statement by the leader of North Korea has particularly concentrated on these nuclear exercises between, as I mentioned, US, Japan and South Korea. So there have been several of these exercises in the recent past, particularly between US and South Korea. And as we all know, North Korea is vehemently opposing these measures, and also the fact that he's mentioned the Russia-Ukraine war as well, and he said that North Korea will continue supporting the Russian regime and its cause is just, and the fact that the war is being prolonged by the West and its allies because they wanted to prolong to cater to their defense capabilities, to their defense needs and their contracts. So all of that has been figured in the big statement made by the North Korean leader.
Thank you, Vishal, for joining us and bringing us those details. Namibia's founding father, Sam Nujoma, who led his country's fight for independence from South Africa at the age of 95, has died. Nujoma had been hospitalized over the past 3 weeks, battling an illness from which he could not recover. Nujoma also won the first democratic election in 1990 and over his 3 terms presided over a period of relative economic prosperity. We'll bring you more on these stories. For now, a short break.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmaker. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025. Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025. Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025. Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead.
and good morning. You're watching Breakfast Show. I'm Radhika Ramaswamy joining you from Mumbai studios. We also have Divya joining us from Delhi. Divya, we have tons lined up. We get you all the updates from Manipur as Chief Minister Biren Singh resigns amid unrest. Prime Minister's Pariksha Pe Charcha in its new format from today at 11 a.m. And Prime Minister Modi also to leave for the big AI summit in France. Of course, that big AI summit that's going to be taking place, and Prime Minister Modi not just going to France, but from there going to the United States, the first visit since Donald Trump took over the office for the second time, and of course that and a whole lot more. But first, let's get you the headlines. Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh resigns, and it's the Manipur governor who's called off the budget session. The Chief Minister has quit amid no confidence motion threat, and this comes in 2 years after ethnic violence that broke out in the state. 8th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha will take place today, where Prime Minister Modi will lead the gathering in sharing examination and stress management tips to students for overcoming exam-related anxiety. And the CBI probes in as far as Tirupati Laddu case is concerned. The CBI has gone ahead and made 4 arrests over ghee adulteration, and this, of course, the CBI they're making those arrests in connection with the Tirupati Laddu adulteration case. It is the TDP government, who remember last year, that had claimed that the prasad was adulterated with animal fat. And President Draupadi Murmu to visit Mahakumbh today. She will be in Prayagraj. In fact, she's all set to take holy dip at Triveni Sangam. And it is Donald Trump who is now planning to impose, in fact, 25% tariff on all steel, aluminium imports into the country. And this is an announcement that will be made today. To remember, he spoke of it at the Super Bowl event, the first president to be attending Super Bowl. He is also planning on imposing reciprocal tariffs on countries who put any sort of tariff on the United States. Prime Minister Modi's France-US visit begins today. In fact, PM Modi to co-chair AI Action Summit with French President. Prime Minister's US tour is from Feb 12 to 13. First meet with the US President after Trump took over. First up, the big political development from Manipur. Divya, Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh steps down from his post following a meeting with Union Home Minister Amit Shah yesterday in New Delhi. He tendered his resignation to Governor Ajay Bhalla soon after reaching Imphal. As per norms, the caretaker Chief Minister can continue in office until a new Chief Minister is appointed or the Assembly is dissolved. That's right, citing the ethnic violence that broke out in May of 2023, 2 years ago almost, around 12 MLAs have been strongly pushing for a change in leadership. And there are around 6 fence-sitters, is what the party sources have gone ahead and said. Sources are also adding that the Speaker, the Chief Minister have had differences in the past. The resignation comes in the wake of the 4th February order by the Supreme Court to determine, as far as the alleged audio recordings are concerned, of the Chief Minister claiming credit for orchestrating ethnic violence in the state.
हमारे ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टर आज 5:30 में जो उसका इस्तीफा जो गवर्नर को सौंप दिया है, क्योंकि वो चाह रहे हैं कि मणिपुर के लिए सोच के हमारी इंटीग्रिटी को बचाने के लिए इतना सोचने के बाद उन्होंने मणिपुर की जनता के लिए उन्होंने ये इस्तीफा दिया है। और उन्होंने भारत सरकार को भी जो रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि हमारी मणिपुर का इंटीग्रिटी को बचाना है। हम इस्तीफा जो गवर्नर को सौंप के आया है, मुख्यमंत्री खुद चाह रहे हैं कि हमारी मणिपुर शांत हो।
He has resigned, so that is his decision, or may discuss with cabinet. So it's okay. We will go through the next that type of discussions in Manipur. Our party will decide, and National Party, I have not to speak about what will be the next step. So the party will decide. So Manipur, we want just Manipur should be part into peace and progress. Thank you.
इतने लोगों की हत्याओं के बाद, पूरे प्रदेश को जलाकर खाक करने के बाद, प्रदेश के अंदर दो समुदाय के बीच में इतनी गहरी खाई खोदने के बाद आज इस्तीफा दे रहे हैं। केंद्र सरकार को चाहिए कि सीधे दखल दे और वहाँ के हालात को सामान्य करे। वहाँ दोनों समुदाय के बीच में केंद्र सरकार को ब्रिज का काम करना चाहिए और लोगों के अंदर मोहब्बत प्यार कायम कर करके वहाँ शांति होनी चाहिए।
Resignation has been accepted, that paper has come in. But whatever it is, I think what people of Manipur deserves is a responsible government who can deal with the situations, because it's an unprecedented chaos that we have seen, subversion of all the propriety of constitutional order. Economy has been destroyed. So many lives have been lost, and thousands of people have still been languishing in relief camps. So we deserve a responsible government, and I think that's the first thought that I have.
Let's go straight across to Ratnadeep on this. Ratnadeep, amid unrest in Manipur and under heavy political pressure, Biren Singh has finally resigned. Give us the factors that have contributed to this one, and also, a lot of developments have taken place since then. Today's budget session has also been called off. So what are the developments expected today? What is going to be the next course of action?
That's right. It is a significant political development that had taken place last evening, but the process had started last week, because last week Biren Singh with some of his cabinet colleagues were camping in New Delhi, and some of the MLAs who have been asking for his removal were also camping in New Delhi. However, the top leadership of BJP did not meet them because they were busy with the Delhi elections. Remember, there were videos which came out of Biren Singh going to Prayagraj with some of his cabinet colleagues, taking a dip in the Triveni Sangam, and then he returned back to the state. But day before yesterday evening, he was again summoned to New Delhi. That's what we are picking up from his office. And yesterday morning, the meeting took place with Union Home Minister Amit Shah, after which he rushed back to Imphal, tendered his resignation. Now, after he has made his exit, now the decision as to who replaces him has to be taken. It is not an easy decision, given the fact that there is a backdrop why this decision has been taken. Now, the governor has cancelled the assembly session, which was supposed to start from today. This is a budget session, and remember, it is a constitutional mandate to call for assembly session in every 6 months, and that deadline will get over by the 11th. And so, therefore, if the assembly is not to be dissolved, and if a new chief minister has to be elected, then this decision has to be arrived in a day or two. So therefore, now all eyes will be on the national leadership of the BJP in terms of who is the next chief minister. There are several names going around, but the consensus has to be built in within the party, because there were differences within the party as well. That's what sources tell us. And also among allies. Remember, in last November, allies like NPP had withdrawn support from Biren Singh government, and also among the communities, because you have 10 Kuki Zomi MLAs who had earlier asked for removal of Biren Singh.
Right. So, of course, the differences that have been brewing over a while now, and it's been almost 2 years since the ethnic violence that broke out in the state. To know more on this, we have Deepak Diwan, senior journalist, joining us from Manipur. Sir, of course, the Congress party, they're saying that this is a belated, resignation. Of course, he's the Congress party, obviously, they're saying that, finally this handing over of his resignation to the governor is something that was, long time coming. Take us through the reasons behind this, and what does it really mean for, what really happens next as far as Manipur is concerned, given the fact that the ethnic violence continues in the state?
See, Congress may be claiming a victory by saying that they had called for a no-confidence motion. That's why the government, the Biren was forced to resign. But the fact remains, within the BJP MLAs in the state, at least a dozen of them, they had also made it clear that they would support the no-confidence motion if Biren continues. So that made the party leaders in Delhi realized that there was no way. I mean, instead of facing defeat on the floor of the House, it's better that he resigns. So he resigned. Now the question is, I think more or less, I mean, it is clear that I think we are going for an animated suspension of the House, not dissolving it, but put it under animated suspension till the time they found acceptable leader of, I mean, within the BJP party who's acceptable to all. All means, as Ratnadeep also said, there are 10 cookies or MLAs, out of which 7 are from the BJP, and out of 7, the 2 are the cabinet ministers. They have been cabinet ministers. They are continuing to be cabinet ministers even after May 3rd, 2023. They could not attend any session, as any assembly session, because of the security concerns. They could not enter Imphal. As you know, the cookies living in their areas, they cannot enter Imphal area because of the security reasons. And so is the case with the Metis. They also don't enter in the cookie areas. So there's a total divide has taken place, and you'll be surprised to keep this buffer zone between the two communities. All the central paramilitary forces have been deployed. So the question is, Biren Singh failed on all the fronts in the state. He could not protect his own MLAs. Forget about the general public.
Mr. Diwan, my question is, of course, Biren Singh was under a lot of pressure from the opposition, not just from the opposition, but from within his party, which led to the resignation. Certainly, many would argue that this came too late. But now that this has happened, how do you assess the political landscape in Manipur post his resignation? And more importantly, what is the kind of public sentiment on his resignation?
See, the public sentiment, if you look at the attacks by the public on their elected MLAs in the Manipur Imphal area, where the Meitei MLAs, their houses were targeted by the general public, that made them, that forced them to stand against Biren. His policies, the way he was handling the situation. I mean, he was not at all handling anything, because see, the thing is, law and order remained with the center. Center appointed a advisor to the Manipur government, who was controlling all the police and other law enforcement, law and order issues. But the thing is, today you need a political will to make people believe that the government stands for them, whether it is Meitei, Kuki or Naga. So to find that kind of leader, it will take little time. I think that's why I think we are heading towards the animated suspension. I don't think at this moment there is anyone in the BJP party among the MLAs who can claim that he'll be able to do the justice. I think till that time, the central party of BJP, they find someone like that, I think it will remain under animated suspension.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with us. Deepak Diwan, senior journalist from Manipur, getting us a real breakdown as to what is really happening as far as the political turmoil is concerned, with Biren Singh there tendering in his resignation and giving his resignation to the governor last evening. Now, moving on to more news, and let's get you the latest when it comes to, the Prime Minister there, who will in fact today be holding the Pariksha Pe Charcha. Of course, examinations often bring anxiety and stress to students, but it's Prime Minister Modi's Pariksha Pe Charcha initiative that has been changing that narrative. The 8th edition is going to be taking place today from 11 o'clock this morning at the Bharat Mandapam. It will be the Prime Minister who will in fact be participating in Pariksha Pe Charcha, that will feature 7 insightful episodes bringing together renewed personalities from diverse fields to guide the students. A lot of star attraction there as well, Radhika.
Absolutely. In fact, these episodes will focus on sports, discipline, mental health, nutrition, creativity and positivity. This is, of course, Prime Minister Modi's pet project in its new edition and format. Prime Minister Modi had also written a book, Exam Warriors, for young students to help them deal with the stress of exams. The book was published in 2018. More on this, we're joined by Aishwarya. Aishwarya, of course, in its new format, Pariksha Pe Charcha, starting with its new edition today, prominent personalities to be a part of it, a new venue as well. Give us details of how different this new edition of Prime Minister's Pariksha Pe Charcha is going to be.
Well, certainly this time it is very different from the concept that we have seen earlier in a few of the segments that Prime Minister hosted as far as Pariksha Pe Charcha is concerned. This time over 3.5 crore record-breaking registrations have been received from students, teachers and parents who have participated, and they have been shortlisted after getting a chance to interact with the Prime Minister. We also saw how Prime Minister went to Sundar Nursery, and in an open platform he interacted with different students from all across the country who took the participation and interacted with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and got an opportunity to ask questions to the Prime Minister related to exam stress, time management, lack of resources and other problems as well. Parents and teachers had also came forward to get the solution to the queries pertaining to the encouragement of students as well. And this time as well, several celebrities across the country were also involved in Pariksha Pe Charcha, including Deepika Padukone, Vikrant Messi and others who also were the part of Pariksha Pe Charcha. So clearly a kind of concept that Prime Minister has brought with the collaboration of Ministry of Education to bring students on one platform to get encouragement from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And today it would be aired as well, the 2020. So a very important one and a different one that we saw from the last few years of Prime Minister interacting with students.
Right, Aishwarya. So Pariksha Pe Charcha in its new avatar from 11 a.m. today. A prominent celebrity is also going to be part of it. Thank you for getting us those details. Let's move on now to the national capital. Delhi BJP chief has written to Delhi LG seeking a meeting along with all the newly elected MLAs of the party. Divya, we don't know who the next chief minister of Delhi will be, but huddle is on. BJP all set to form the next government in the national capital after a gap of 27 years. The party won 48 seats out of 70 in the elections, reducing Aam Aadmi Party to just 22 seats. Now the focus, of course, on who the next chief minister of Delhi is going to be.
That's a very big million-dollar question there, Radhika, as to who will be the new chief minister after, the outgoing Aam Aadmi Party, of course, with Atishi, who was our chief minister in the national capital. And, of course, several names as far as the BJP is concerned are doing the rounds, from Parvesh Verma, who defeated Arvind Kejriwal from the New Delhi constituency, to Vijender Gupta. We also have many other names doing the rounds. The oath-taking ceremony of the New Delhi chief minister is likely to take place only after Prime Minister Modi returns from his visit to, remember, he's going to France today, and from France he's going to be going to the United States, and he's going to be there till at least the 14th of February, and only once he comes back is when the swearing-in ceremony will take place. So the suspense will continue up until then. And to know more on this, we have my colleague Shreya joining us. Shreya, take us through the names doing the rounds, including Basuri Swaraj, the daughter of Sushma Swaraj. Also, her name is cropping up, as well as Parvesh Verma, but also the BJP chief, as far as Delhi is concerned, could be in the fray.
That's right, Divya and Radhika. We know that after BJP's historic comeback, all eyes are on the CM phase, the chief ministerial phase, because we know BJP has been out of power for the last 27 years, and now it is time for the national leadership to appoint the CM phase. Of course, a lot of speculations is going around the New Delhi constituency seat, which has saw the likes of former CM Sheila Dikshit, Arvind Kejriwal, and this time we saw Parvesh Verma, who belongs influence from the Jat community, and taking into consideration how, women, caste community, these kind of the gender, caste community, these kind of factors take into consideration, while selecting a CM face. We know Parvesh Verma is, being highlighted for the CM face this time, also because he defeated Arvind Kejriwal, who has been ruling since 2013. After 10 years rule, he got defeated by BJP's Parvesh Verma. He has been two-time MLA, two-time MP, one-time MLA, and there are other people as well, including Vijender Gupta, Satish Upadhyay. There are a lot of incoming, upcoming MLAs who have a chance of becoming the CM. We know as per sources that BJP national leadership will be appointing 2 observers, and they will take the process forward. They will be observing the incoming MLAs, and since the budget parliament session is on till 14th, the observation will take place, and then the national leadership, the BJP legislative party will come to the bottom line, will give the decision of who will be the CM of Delhi. Of course, there are these MLAs who have a higher chance because we have always seen BJP always giving all the political observers and the people of the voters a surprise when it comes to the CM phase. And although we know the MLAs have a higher chance, there are also the sitting MPs, the Lok Sabha MPs, be it Basuri Swaraj, Manoj Tiwari, they also are in the fray. But we know for a fact that we have seen in the past that BJP has always taken a leader of a relatively lower public profile and making them the chief minister. Soon, once Prime Minister Narendra Modi returns from the United States, the oath ceremony will take place and the government formation will be followed then.
That's right, Shreya. Of course, BJP perhaps will be following that same route that we've seen recently in the past elections as far as the states are concerned, with names that were absolutely unexpected. So perhaps on unexpected lines is what we can expect yet again as far as the BJP is concerned. Thank you so much for joining us. Moving on now to the newly elected MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party who met with the chief of the party, Arvind Kejriwal, at his residence. Radhika, this is after that major defeat of only winning 22 seats out of a total of 70 seats that the Aam Aadmi Party had contested on.
Absolutely. In fact, after the meeting, a senior Aam Aadmi Party leader and MLA-elect Atishi reaffirmed the party's commitment to serving people and holding BJP government accountable, and also saying that AAP will play the role of a constructive opposition.
हम दिल्ली की जनता का जनादेश स्वीकार करते हैं और एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव ऑपोजिशन की भूमिका निभाएंगे। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो वादे किए हैं वो सारे वादे आम आदमी पार्टी पूरे करवाएगी।
मैम, एलओपी के बारे में कुछ डिस्कशन हुई है? कौन होंगे एलओपी?
नहीं, अभी ऐसी कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई। वो एक बारी लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी की आधिकारिक बैठक होगी, उसके बाद इस पे चर्चा होगी।
Shifting our focus to the big AI summit, Divya, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to co-chair the upcoming Artificial Intelligence Action Summit in Paris on Feb 11th, highlighting India's growing influence on the global stage. This visit, of course, marks a significant milestone in India's engagement with global AI initiatives.
That's right, Radhika. The summit really aims to establish guiding principles when it comes to artificial intelligence, focusing on ethical, democratic, and environmentally sustainable use. As far as India and France, they're set to make major announcements in the areas of defense, small modular reactors and aircraft maintenance, as well as repair and overhaul. So there's a lot of, riding on this visit of the Prime Minister to France. And of course, but that really, the roadmap that France and India plans to adopt as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. This is going to be a 3-day visit of the Prime Minister to France. But let's just highlight for you what all is expected out of this visit and where does India really see itself when it comes to the global AI race. Let's take a look.
Been below, let's say, in the 20 billion, we have less than 100 companies present in France, and there's much more potential. Whereas today, historically, French companies has been quite present in India. More than 1,000 companies are present in India, some of them for the last 100 years and more than that as well. So there's a lot of opportunity that Indian companies should look at France. This is probably the India moment in France, okay? And there's a openness from France side, and the other side also from India as well. There's a real interest in collaborating more with France.
All right, so for more on this, we're joined by guests, AI experts, Mishi Chaudhary, technology lawyer, founder, SFLC.in, and Pavan Prabhat, who's the co-founder of Short Hills AI. Thank you to both of us. I will start with Mishi first. Of course, Mishi, as far as this visit is concerned, this is seen as a crucial visit, and India increasingly being seen as a key player in global AI discussions, especially with Prime Minister Modi's visit to France for the AI summit. But what do you think India's unique contribution is going to be, in terms of global AI governance, particularly in shaping ethical guidelines and standards, considering the fact that, we have countries like the US and China leading the race, but where does can India really position itself in the summit?
So the first important thing is that it's not a visit only by India. We're actually co-hosting the summit. So the fact that India's Prime Minister is now co-hosting with Emmanuel Macron shows the importance of the voice of the global South, which is being represented by a country which is known around the world for its tech talent. Even the leaders in this race, which is the US as well as China, US Valley is full of people who are all coming mostly from India. And so that is just one thing. We're a co-host of the summit, not just a visit, such an important thing. The other thing is AI risks and safety measures are different for us in the global South. Our culture is different, our tensions are different. What kind of models we are training in terms of data sets, that's also very different. So India becomes that voice to say, each country in the global South has very different context, and we cannot just say whatever is being developed, like it was developed with platform companies in the Valley, that's going to also be the same rule for AI. Second thing is there is, of course, the priority now about maximizing the opportunity for countries which are different and not the US or China. So the democratizing the access to AI resources in the value chain, India is going to play a bigger role in it. So I would say, considering this is the third summit now after the UK and South Korea, the importance of geopolitics, the tension between China and US on these matters, and the important balancing role. The third pillar is European Union, but who's going to represent the voice of the global South? So that is where India's role becomes extremely important.
Right. We also have Pavan Pratap with us. Pavan Prabhat, please, we just heard that France is expected to announce a huge funding. This is going to be a private sector funding when it comes during the summit. That's the kind of announcement that we're expecting, to the tune of 109 billion euros is what we're expecting, and this is going to be coming from a firm in Canada as well as a firm in the United Arab Emirates. Last month we heard President Trump announce that OpenAI, SoftBank as well as Oracle is going to be investing to the tune of 500 billion in the AI space. What about India as far as investment is concerned? How crucial is that, and where do we see India as far as the global AI race is concerned?
See, India is already running a lot of engines in the AI world. If you look at the back end, the front end, the amount of IT engineers that we have, all the companies, be it Microsoft, be it any service company, anything is being run from India. So I think India has that leverage. India is going to play an important role in this. There is no way you can ride the AI wave without the engineers that we have. Now, given this, what we need right now is maybe few funds. When I say few, I mean it's in billions of dollars. But we need some funds to really focus on some cutting edge research. And that essentially comes by getting good people. If you heard Jan LeCun from Meta when he was on India visit, he discussed how Paris, became a hub where Meta put in a lot of PhDs where they could do some cutting edge research. So I guess we need to fund such research to get some kind of breakthrough once. And then if we are going to invest very heavily in data centers and getting the compute power, I think with these pieces tied in and with the kind of the large volume of engineers that we have, the kind of inroads that we have within all the companies, all the sectors, I think it's going to be a home run for us. And one interesting point about AI is that essentially, if you look at the fundamental architecture around AI, the transformers, which made it very popular, they're very good at translation. So even markets where language was a barrier, like maybe France in this case, could really just open up because of AI. So I think we are going to gain a lot from this.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Mishi, as well as Pavan.
Right, thank you for getting us all those details. And of course, Prime Minister Modi, who is departing for France this afternoon, and he will be there by later tonight, Radhika. But also, in the meantime, it's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurating the 2025 edition as far as the Aero India show is concerned. This is taking place in Bengaluru. This is Asia's biggest aerospace and defence exhibition. Well, there are more than 900 exhibitors with 90 countries participating, Radhika.
Absolutely. There are more than 900 exhibitors and 90 countries participating. 30 defense ministers from various countries will attend this event. Representatives of 100 original equipment manufacturers are attending. Domestic defense production is expected to cross rupees 1.6 lakh crore by 2025-26. This is the 15th edition of Aero India and focuses greatly on the Atmanirbhar Bharat model of Make in India defense development. Let's go straight across to Sajid, who is joining us from the event. Sajid, my question really is, how does Aero India come at a time when India is looking to conclude multiple orders for IAF and Navy, including a deal for 114 fighters for the IAF? Take us through the key highlights as far as Aero Show this time around is concerned.
That's right. The 15th edition of Aero India will be inaugurated in a while from now. And that is going to see a lot of participation from multiple countries, including some of the prospective, vendors who would like to pitch in for that 114 fighter aircrafts which we are talking about. It's also important to know that this is for the first time we will see the F-35 fighter jet from Lockheed Martin and the Su-57 aircraft from the Sukhoi series, participating in this Aero India. And these are the 5th generation fighter aircrafts which will be on display and will be performing at the Aero India show in the next 3 to 4 days. What is important to note is that there has been a lot of delays with respect to Tejas being delivered, and that's primarily because of the engines which were supposed to come from General Electric. Now we've been told that those engines of supply lines and the production line of HAL has been stabilized, and the production will begin from FY26, means from April onwards. That's what the expectation is. But in the meantime, India needs advanced medium combat aircraft, and for that India is going ahead with its own 5th generation model, which will be under development, and that is also displayed in the India Pavilion and is showcased there. But as you see, the Air Force is in need of a lot of aircraft. They need nearly 42 squadrons, and they have currently 30 squadrons. So they will need in the interim other fighter jets like 5th generation fighters, either from the US or from Russia, and that's where the competitiveness comes from these two countries, because both the countries are pitching for their 5th generation aircraft to be to India. And I think in the forthcoming yesterday at the curtain raiser, the defense minister and the defense ministry officials did point to the fact that the negotiations are on with prospective buyers, and as and when it gets completed, the announcement will be made. But they were very clear that the needs of Air Force will be balanced so that the competitive edge of Air Force remains intact.
Right, Sajid, well, India's Tejas fighter has been delayed in induction because the US jet engine supplier, the General Electric, has been unable to meet its deadline. How is this a cause of concern?
It's been a little concerning for the last 2 years, because India did sign in with General Electric in 2021 for engines. There were around 88 engines that India had signed in for. General Atlantic was to supply GE 404 engines to Tejas Mark 1A, which is a variant of Mark 1, an upgraded version of Mark 1. And the supply lines were supposed to start from 2023. The delay has been nearly 2 years because the engine lines are not stabilized for GE, which is General Electric, and HAL, which was also trying to put in a additional supply line, which is in Nasik, was also taking time to stabilize it. Currently, if you see, there is order of 88 Tejas Mark 1A, which is supposed to be delivered, followed by another 93 Mark A 1A will be delivered. So in total, roughly around 170 odd or 180 odd Tejas have to be delivered over the next many years. In addition to that, the government is also looking to put in an order of Tejas Mark 2, which is the advanced version and heavier version of Tejas, and that would also come in at some point in time in the future. So it is important that the supply lines are cleared for India's Tejas production to happen. And in the forthcoming visit of the Prime Minister, I think some of these things will be ironed out, and there will be speedier supply of engines so that the Tejas production starts coming April onwards.
Right. Thank you, Sajid, for getting us all those details from the venue Aero India, Asia's largest air show. In fact, all set to showcase strength, resilience, and self-reliance of the new India. Thank you for getting us all those details. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More news and updates coming up on the other side.
That's right, Radhika. Lots more coming up, including 4 arrests have been made in the Tirupati Laddu Rao by the CBI. That and a lot more on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
मोबाइल फोन किसी भी ब्रांड का काम का तब होता है जब उसमें NDTV का ऐप हो।
जब अपना फोन किसी को दो तो NDTV ऐप के अलावा बाकी सब डिलीट कर देना।
नहीं तो क्या सियापा होता है, जानने के लिए देखिए हमारी स्वीट लव स्टोरी लव्यापा आपके नजदीकी सिनेमा घरों में।
तुम अपना फोन एक दिन के लिए बानी को दोगे और बानी तुम अपना फोन एक दिन के लिए गौरव को दो।
और न्यूज के लिए कीप वॉचिंग NDTV।
हर 2 साल में फोन बदले जाते हैं गुच्ची।
NDTV ऐप नहीं।
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget है।
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmaker. NDTV keeps you ahead.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious.
Welcome back. Let's just get you the very latest, and this is in the last of our ongoing series that raises awareness around lung cancer. Today we hear the caregiver's perspective.
That's right. It's over to Ambika for more.
Good morning. You're watching Lung Cancer Awareness United in our goal, an initiative by Lung Connect India Foundation. Through the last week, we have spoken with doctors, patients, patient advocacy groups, and today we speak with the caregivers, often overlooked, but who play a key role in advocating for the patient's needs. Joining us this morning is Mohammed Rizwan, whose wife is living with stage 4 lung cancer. He himself volunteers with Lung Connect India Foundation as a patient advocate. Thank you so much, Mohammed Rizwan, for joining us today. If you could tell us, what are the challenges you face as a caregiver to someone living with lung cancer?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. वैसे तो एज ए केयर गिवर बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस हैं। पहला चैलेंज यही है कि कैंसर स्टेज 4 में डिटेक्ट हुआ। मेरी वाइफ को 32 साल की एज में लंग कैंसर का लास्ट स्टेज में डिटेक्ट हुआ। ना उनकी कोई फैमिली हिस्ट्री है और ना ही उन्होंने और मैंने कभी स्मोकिंग किया। कैंसर डिटेक्ट होने के 6 महीना पहले ही हमने फुल बॉडी चेकअप कराया था। चेस्ट एक्सरे में कुछ डॉट्स भी आए, लेकिन डॉक्टर ने टीवी का संदेह जताते हुए हमें फर्दर इवोल्यूशन के लिए बोल के हमें भेज दिया। और 6 महीने बाद पैर में तेज दर्द के कारण हम एडमिट करना पड़ा और फाइनली स्टेज 4 लंग कैंसर डिटेक्ट हुआ। आप सोचिए अंबिका जी कि हम जैसे लोग जो हर 2 साल में फुल बॉडी चेकअप कराते हैं, फिर भी हम इसे अर्ली स्टेज में डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाए, तो बाकियों की क्या स्थिति होगी जी? इस प्रॉब्लम के लिए मेरा मानना है कि सभी प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर सेंटर में मेडिकल एक्सपर्ट ऑन्कोलॉजी होनी चाहिए, जिससे कि कैंसर को हम अर्ली स्टेज में डिटेक्ट किया जा सके और लोगों की जान बचाई जा सके। जो दूसरा और सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है वो है फाइनेंशियल टॉक्सिसिटी। कैंसर की मेडिसिन बहुत कॉस्टली है। जो मुझे लंग कैंसर में टारगेटेड मेडिसिन जो मुझे ऑफर हुई थी, उसका कॉस्ट अराउंड 85,000 से लेके 2.5 लाख पर मंथ तक का था। अब आप बताइए अंबिका जी, एक मिडिल क्लास इसे कैसे अफोर्ड कर सकता है? देखिए, मैं तो फॉर्चुनेट था कि मेरे पास इंश्योरेंस था और मेरे एम्प्लॉयर ने मेरा बहुत सपोर्ट किया। आज के डेट में मैं अपनी वाइफ का ट्रीटमेंट करा पा रहा हूँ, इसका क्रेडिट मेरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जहां मैं काम करता हूँ, इसके फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट को जाता है। बट बाकी लोगों का क्या? लंग कनेक्ट के थ्रू मैं ऐसे बहुत सारे केयर गिवर से मिला हूँ जिन्होंने टारगेटेड मेडिसिन में अपनी सारी सेविंग्स लगा दिया है और आज आर्थिक तंगी से गुजर रहे हैं। सोचिए अंबिका जी, मेडिसिन होते हुए भी लोग इसे अफोर्ड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। आयुष्मान भारत योजना गरीबों को 5 लाख तक का ट्रीटमेंट देता है, बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन एक लंग कैंसर पेशेंट के पास आयुष्मान कार्ड होते हुए भी वो इलाज नहीं करा सकता, क्योंकि आयुष्मान भारत में टारगेटेड मेडिसिन इंक्लूड ही नहीं है जी। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आज नहीं तो कल गवर्नमेंट इसे जरूर इंक्लूड करेगी, लेकिन जब तक लोगों की जो जान जा रही है उसका क्या? अंत में मैं समझता हूं कि एज ए केयर गिवर बीमारी के ऑनर होते हैं। मुझे न सिर्फ अपने वाइफ के इलाज की पूरी जिम्मेदारी निभानी है, बल्कि साथ साथ अपने बच्चे का फ्यूचर भी सिक्योर करना है, पेरेंट्स की देखभाल करनी है, और इन सब के साथ साथ जो मैं जॉब कर रहा हूँ या जो लोग बिजनेस कर रहे हैं उसको भी कंटिन्यू करना है, क्योंकि जब पैसे आएंगे तो इलाज होगा जी। तो केयर गिवर के लिए एक बेटर सपोर्ट सिस्टम की जरूरत है, जिसकी शुरुआत होनी चाहिए फाइनेंशियल बर्डन को कम करने से।
और आपने ये जो इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स आप जो सामने लाए हैं रिजवान जी, आई थिंक वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। लेकिन एक और चीज़ मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी दैट रिसर्च प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन एडवांसिंग कैंसर केयर। सो जो रोल है पेशेंट्स का है, केयर गिवर्स का है इन फीडिंग दैट रिसर्च, इसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्या चैलेंजेस हैं?
जी अंबिका जी, ये टॉपिक मेरे लिए बहुत खास है क्योंकि मेरी वाइफ खुद एक क्लिनिकल ट्रायल से जुड़ी हैं और मैं जब भी अपने ट्रायल के बारे में लोगों से बात करता हूं तो उनका सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन यही आता है कि क्या ये सेफ है। देखिए, जो भी ट्रायल्स ऐसे ही नहीं शुरू हो जाते हैं, बहुत सारे टेस्ट को पास करने के बाद ट्रायल की परमिशन मिलती है, डॉक्टर की क्लोज सुपरविजन में ट्रायल कंडक्ट किए जाते हैं। तो मेरा मानना है अंबिका जी के लोगों को ट्रायल के सारे रिस्क को अच्छे से समझ के और ज्यादा से ज्यादा इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करने की जरूरत है जिससे कि फ्यूचर जनरेशन को एफिशिएंट और अफोर्डेबल मेडिसिन मिल सके। देखिए, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग, आज मैं फाइनेंशियल टॉक्सिसिटी की बात कर रहा हूं, तो वो कैसे कम होगा? जब ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्रायल जो है, रिसर्च जो है वो इंडिया में कंडक्ट होंगे, तब जाकर मेडिसिन कॉस्ट कम होगा। और लोगों को अगर जानना है तो ये सारे ट्रायल्स क्लिनिकल ट्रायल रजिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया के वेबसाइट पे मौजूद हैं। लंग कैंसर की अगर ट्रायल की मैं बात करूं तो आज के डेट में 238 ट्रायल मौजूद हैं। और ट्रायल में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए आपको भी जैसे पता होगा कि बहुत सेट ऑफ पैरामीटर्स होते हैं। तो कोई इंडिविजुअल ये अगर जानना चाहे कि मेरे पेशेंट के पैरामीटर के अकॉर्डिंग इंडिया में कहाँ ट्रायल चल रहे हैं, ये जानना बहुत मुश्किल है। इसके लिए उसको सारे डेटा को एनालाइज करना पड़ेगा। तो ट्रायल को और बेहतर और इसको प्रमोट करने की जरूरत है और उसके लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत है कि पेशेंट फ्रेंडली इंफॉर्मेशन वेबसाइट पे मौजूद हो, जिससे जो लोग भी पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहते हैं एटलीस्ट उनको सही इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सके। आज के डेट में डॉक्टर भी इस समस्या से जूझ रहे हैं कि उन्हें सही पैरामीटर वाले पेशेंट नहीं मिल पा रहे हैं। तो इन प्रॉब्लम को देखते हुए मैंने खुद ये डिसाइड किया है कि लंग कैंसर के रिलेटेड जितने भी एक्टिव ट्रायल्स हैं उनके डेटा को मैं एनालाइज करूंगा और एक पेशेंट फ्रेंडली डेटाबेस में लंग कनेक्ट टीम को दूंगा, जिससे कि वो अपने इस डेटा को अपने वेबसाइट पे डाल सकें ताकि कम से कम एटलीस्ट लंग कैंसर के ट्रायल में मैं लोगों की मदद कर सकूं। तो एंड में मैं लंग कनेक्ट इंडिया फाउंडेशन का बहुत आभारी हूं जिसके माध्यम से मैं एनडीटीवी से जुड़ सका। मैं जितने भी लंग कैंसर पेशेंट मुझे सुन रहे हैं उनसे मैं अपील करता हूं कि आप लंग कनेक्ट से जुड़ें। ये प्लेटफॉर्म पेशेंट और केयर गिवर को फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सपोर्ट एंड गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड करता है। और एंड में मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि एनडीटीवी की इस मुहिम से आने वाले समय में लंग कैंसर को लेकर पॉजिटिव चेंजेस देखने को मिलेंगे और लोगों की जान बचाई जा सकेगी।
आप हमारे साथ जुड़े, इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन दी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। So thank you so much. We wish you and your wife, Rizwan, all the very best. So that was our series, Lung Cancer Awareness, United in Our Goals. For more information on lung cancer and patient advocacy, visit lungconnectindia.org. For now, it's back to the news on NDTV 24/7.
Shifting our focus to Tirupati Laddu Rao, the Tirumala Laddu adulteration case has seen some significant developments. The CBI investigation team has arrested 4 individuals, including Bipin Jain, Paumil Jain, former directors of Bole Baba Dairy, Vaishnavi Dairy CEO Apurv Vinay Kant Chavda, and another individual. The investigation by a special team set up by the Supreme Court after a massive controversy has uncovered details of a deliberate contamination, Divya.
Right, of course, this investigation reveals serious irregularities in the ghee supply process, with the Vaishnavi Dairy securing tenders in the name of AR Dairy and fabricating false documents and seals. The authorities also found that the Bole Baba Dairy, this is the dairy that did not have the capacity to supply the quantities that were required of the ghee that they claimed that they could provide. Now, the scandal, of course, came to light during the previous government's tenure, with impure materials, including animal fat that was found in the prasad that was being served at the temple. To know more on this, we have our colleague Uma joining us. Uma, 4 arrests have been made by the CBI for the adulteration in the laddu. Take us through the background of this case. Of course, it was the previous government that had claimed that animal fat was found in the laddu that was being offered as prasad at the Tirupati temple. There was a special investigation team that was formed, the SIT that was formed in order to investigate the matter. Now the CBI has gone ahead and finally made arrests. Take us through, what does this really prove in terms of the report that was found, ever since that controversy that erupted last year?
So the Tirupati Laddu became a huge controversy after the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu spoke about alleged, kind of adulteration of the ghee that was used to make the Tirupati Laddu, that it was adulterated with animal fat was the statement that Mr. Chandrababu Naidu had made, after which there were multiple reactions in fact, and subsequently the Supreme Court had ordered for a special investigation team to be constituted. 5 members in the team, 2 from the CBI, 2 from the Andhra Pradesh government, and 1 from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. And this team has now found some lapses, or rather irregularities in the supply chain that we are talking about, in the tendering for the supply chain. And as you mentioned, we are talking about 3 particular dairies from where people have been arrested. One is from Roorkee, Uttarakhand. The second is from, the other 2 are from Tamil Nadu. And the claim that is being made is that the Vaishnavi dairy had in fact claimed to have sourced its ghee from Bole Baba dairy in Roorkee, and the authorities say that Bole Baba dairy in fact does not have the capacity to supply such quantities of ghee. And AR Dairies, Raju Rajshekar had also been arrested in this, because they say that Vaishnavi dairy had in fact secured the tenders in the name of AR Dairy for the ghee supply to Tirumala. So this had happened in the month of July, when 8 tankers are supposed to have come with the ghee, out of which 4 tankers were in fact tested. And in July of last year is when the report from the National Dairy Development Board seems to suggest that there were adulterants in the ghee that was supposed to have been used for the making of the Tirupati Laddu itself. So now the first breakthrough, should I say, in this investigation by the Special Investigation Team, that is pointing to certain irregularities in the supply chain that was giving about 15,000 tons of ghee are used in Tirumala every day for making of the laddu, and it is in that supply that these irregularities have now been found.
Right. Thank you so much, Uma, for getting us those details. And now, of course, the budget session that's coming up, of course, the general discussion that's expected on the union budget that will resume today, Radhika, on day 7 of the parliament session. Now, of course, we are expecting a lot in terms of, the new tax regime. How will that pan out? That discussion is also expected.
Absolutely. Budget session saw heated discussion between government and opposition over the last few days, and as you mentioned, many bills expected to be tabled as well. For more on this, we're joined by Aishwarya. Aishwarya, today we believe general discussion on budget in both the houses. What can be expected? What are some of the bills that could be tabled today?
Well, that's right. In both the lower house of the parliament and the upper house of the parliament, there would be discussion on the budget that will take place. Of course, the Congress MPs have moved adjournment motions in regards to the arrest by the Sri Lankan Navy of the Tamil Nadu fishermen. We also saw protest being lodged by the opposition MPs of the India bloc outside the parliament and inside the parliament, as they raised the issue of the arrest of fishermen, and they wanted discussion on that as well. But certainly today's budget session will commence amidst of the resignation by Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh as well, and in all likelihood the opposition MPs would be demanding Prime Minister to visit the state of Manipur. Certainly that issue would also be raised by several of the opposition MPs today. So a very important day in Rajya Sabha. Let me tell you, it is of course the protection of interest in aircraft object bill 2025 that would be tabled for the introduction.
All right. Thank you, Aishwarya, for getting us all those details. We'll keep coming back to you as the sessions progress. Moving on now, this is from Mumbai. The BMC has decided to invest a lump sum amount of rupees 25 crore for the development of Koliwadas, which are the fishermen colonies in Mumbai region. A massive budget allocation to transform and beautify Koliwadas, Divya.
That's right. Of course, this is going to be a massive overhauling. Is good. They are going to be planning to make this into touristy spots. That is the aim behind the beautification of this particular area. Well, our colleague Anuj has all the details.
Mumbai is home to over 20 Kolivadas. These are the regions where the city's original inhabitants have stayed even before the Mumbai city came into being. The city's civic body will be pumping in an amount of rupees 25 crore for the development of these hamlets into tourism hotspots.
The core purpose is actually to experience the city. And when I say that experience, it's about the culture, cuisine, some festivals which are there. Kolis being the original inhabitants of this city, they have a lot to offer, and we have not actually been able to project that outside to people who can come and do that. Also, that will help in generating a lot of livelihood and conservation, because then the culture, when you put in some investment for tourism or some kind of that purpose, the culture gets conserved and also creates a lot of livelihood for the local people out there.
While the intention behind the move has been applauded by many, the major apprehension is about the money. Is 25 crores enough? Is there a long-term plan in place? Why is there not much elaboration on the plan of action? Are some of the questions troubling the Kolivada residents.
There are 31 Kolivadas in all over Mumbai, and 25 CRs is a very nominal amount what they have decided. But if you go to see, they have not mentioned exactly their vision. They have just said that it is for one Kolivada they are spending 25 CR for the 31 Kolivadas. But any which ways, they have thought about the community, which is fair enough. But here, if they would have mentioned and cleared their vision, it would have been better.
Livelihood generation is seen as a major aspect of this project. However, the locals believe that there are some other key primary issues which should have been addressed before thinking of Kolivadas purely as a commercial entity.
Basic needs are to be done before. Tourist development is another thing, and the basic thing is it will be helpful for our people for emergency purposes. The main thing is for ambulance. If a patient have to be carried to hospital, we have to take him till bus stand on a wheelchair. Ambulance doesn't enter in our Kolivada.
Many people across the city, especially the Koris, are welcoming the decision of investing 25 crore rupees in the Kolivadas for their developments, especially for the development of tourist hotspots here. However, they do have their own apprehensions on whether this amount will be sufficient or not. But what goes without saying is the fact that when tourist hotspots will be developed in Kolivadas across the city, that will lead to an increased number of livelihood options and will also promote the Kori culture across the world. With camera person Sandesh Baikar and Mahesh Halwai, this is Anuj Raide reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
Big Budget Day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget. This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead. Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Big budget day. Big newsmakers on NDTV. Top ministers and opposition leaders.
ये by the people, of the people and for the people budget.
It is a fulfilling budget.
This is a development budget.
It's one of the finest budgets I've ever seen.
More than a bold move, it is a clever move.
NDTV, always the first choice of newsmakers. NDTV keeps you ahead. Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip and the spiritual sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest.
Hello and good morning. You're watching news at 9 a.m. My name is Radhika Ramaswamy. I'm joining you from Mumbai studios. We also have Divya Wadhwa joining us from Delhi. Divya, we have tons lined up, huddle and deliberations after Manipur Chief Minister's resignation and Prime Minister Modi all set to start Pariksha Pe Charcha in new style and format.
That's right. Prime Minister Modi is all set to leave. In fact, Radhika, this afternoon at 12 for the AI Summit in France. And before that, he will be here in Delhi at the Bharat Mandapam. He will be holding the Pariksha Pe Charcha. A lot of star power there as well. We'll get you all the details. But first, let's get you the headlines. CBI probes into the Tirupati Laddu case. 4 arrests have been made by the CBI as far as the ghee adulteration is concerned. So 4 people have been arrested in connection. Do remember to the TDP government that had claimed last year that the prasad was adulterated with animal fat.
Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh resigns 2 years after ethnic violence broke out. The governor calls off budget session as the Chief Minister quits amid no confidence motion threat.
The edition of the Pariksha Pe Charcha will take place at 11 o'clock this morning, where Prime Minister Modi will lead the gathering in sharing examination and stress management tips for students in order to overcome exam-related anxiety.
And President Draupadi Murmu to visit Mahakumbh. Today she will be in Prayagraj. In fact, she's all set to take holy dip at the Triveni Sangam.
Prime Minister Modi's visit to France is going to be taking place today. He will land in France later tonight, and of course he will be co-chairing the AI Action Summit with the French President Emmanuel Macron, which is going to be taking place tomorrow. Do remember that he is there till the 12th, and on the 12th he departs for the United States. He will be in the United States between the 12th and the 14th. This will be the first meeting between the two leaders after Donald Trump has taken oath for the second time.
Trump all set to impose 25% tariff on all steel and aluminium imports. Trump also plans on imposing reciprocal tariffs on countries who put any tariffs on the US. First up, big developments on the Tirupati Laddu Rao, the Tirumala Laddu adulteration case has seen some significant developments. The CBI investigation team has arrested 4 individuals, including Bipin Jain, Pomil Jain, former directors of Bole Baba Dairy, Vaishnavi Dairy CEO, and several other individuals as well. The investigation by a special team set up by the Supreme Court after massive controversy has uncovered details of deliberate contamination.
That's right. That investigation reveals serious irregularities when it came to the ghee supply process with the Vaishnavi Dairy, securing tenders in the name of AR Dairy and fabricating false documents and seals. The authorities also found that Bole Baba the dairy did not really have the capacity to supply the quantities of ghee that it claimed. Now, the scandal came to light during the previous government's tenure with impure material found in the Laddu Prasad, including animal fat. We have Uma, our colleague, joining us to get us more on this. Uma, take us through, it was the Supreme Court that formed that special investigation team, the SIT, involving the central and state officials, which really led to the investigation and finally these arrests that have been made. Take us through the details.
So this would count as the first breakthrough by the special investigation team that has 5 people, 2 people from the CBI, 2 people from the Andhra Pradesh government and 1 person from the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. And they have found irregularities in the supply chain and tendering process for procuring of ghee for making of the Tirupati laddus. And as you know, about 15,000 tons of pure cow ghee is used for making the laddus at Tirumala every single day. And what we are talking about is tenders that were issued last year, and it was in the month of July. July 8 is when the Tirumala temple received about 8 tankers from one particular supplier, and they sent about samples from 4 of those tankers for testing, and they found that there was adulteration by animal fat in the cow ghee itself. And therefore, the investigation started after Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu made a public statement saying that Tirupati Laddu has got contaminated with animal fat, after which the SIT was constituted by the Supreme Court. And what they have found is that Bole Baba is the name of a dairy in Roorkee, Uttarakhand, and this particular dairy's name was mentioned by Vaishnavi Dairy, which had put the tenders in the name of AR Dairy. Both of these agencies, Vaishnavi as well as AR Dairy, are from Tamil Nadu. And all this, of course, has been found to be fraudulent kind of transactions, because investigating agencies found that the Bole Baba Dairy in Roorkee, Uttarakhand does not have the capacity to even supply the kind of quantities that are being spoken about, and therefore these 4 arrests have been carried out, and the 4 people have been sent to judicial remand. Back to you.
Right. Uma, stay with us for our next story as well. And this is in regard to the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister, Revant Reddy, who has blamed a fragmented approach as far as the India bloc is concerned for the loss suffered by both the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party in the recently held Delhi elections.
That's right, Divya. This is a big statement being made. Speaking in Kerala on Sunday, Mr. Reddy said BJP was the ultimate beneficiary of this approach, where both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party were out to harm each other. Let's listen in to what he said.
Yeah, we are trying to, that is why we have made that India alliance. But everyone is expecting everything. That is the biggest problem. We have seen in Delhi, we have seen in Haryana. Kejriwal has disturbed in Haryana, where Congress has got a defeat, and Congress has done something in Delhi. So ultimately, BJP is benefiting. So we have to think, we have to come together. This is the time to plan ourselves.
Let's go back to Uma on this. Uma, big statement there. Revant Reddy blaming lack of unity within India bloc for BJP's consistent wins, particularly pointing at Delhi results.
Revant Reddy is trying to point out is that he believes that there's a new trend, that there's only a ruling party and an opposition, and the voters are not giving space to a third party or other parties in that fray, and that's the reason why he says in multiple places this has been the outcome of results, that there is a ruling party and an opposition, and one of them is chosen by the people. The second important point is commented on the one election, one nation, one election, and even in that case, he's in fact said that that is something where one individual and one party are trying to dominate the scene. A lot of political statements that are made by Revanth Reddy at this institute of, the International Festival of Letters organized by leading Malayalam daily Mathrubhumi, and in that meeting, in fact, he has spoken about two other things. One, he is saying that all the southern states need to come together in order to be able to fight what he has called as certain threats because of the delimitation, and because the southern states have implemented family planning and have put in place population control measures and certain other progressive measures which are now proving to be, anti the southern states, and therefore he believes that the southern states need to come together to combat something like this. Of course, in the same breath, he was talking about how he intends to pitch Hyderabad as a global city and wants the, he says that Telangana's GDP will go up from about 200 billion to about 1 trillion. He has set targets for that, and he spoke about his various dream projects in Hyderabad itself and what he has plans for the state of Telangana itself. Back to you.
All right, thank you for getting us all those details. In fact, stay on with us for the next story as well. This has got to do with a death of an industrialist in Hyderabad. Divya, an 86-year-old industrialist, was allegedly murdered at his residence in Hyderabad by his grandson over a property dispute. Horrific news there. The victim sustained multiple stab wounds.
That's right. This took place on the night of the 6th of February when the accused attacked his own grandfather, the chairman and the managing director of the city-based Viljan group, with a knife, resulting in his death. From what we're hearing is that he also attacked his mother. And to know more on this, we have Uma with us. Uma, the accused also stabbed his mother when she tried to intervene, and she also sustained injuries and was later admitted to the hospital. But it's the grandfather who lost his life for over money and property.
So this 86-year-old VC Janardhan Rao is a well-respected industrialist philanthropist in Hyderabad, and he was the chairman and managing director of a 460 crore worth group, Viljan Group, which deals with not just hydraulics equipment, industrial equipment, energy, many other sectors as well. And he was living in Somajiguda area of Hyderabad, and his daughter Sarojini Devi and her son had come in to meet the grandfather, and the grandson, in fact, about 28 to 29 years old, had just returned from the US after a postgraduate degree. So it's a highly educated young man that we are talking about, and he's said to have demanded either to be made a director of the company or to be given a share of the property. And the grandfather, we are told, was reluctant because of he suspected a drug addiction habit with his grandson, because of which he was not given. And the grandson accused him of not treating him well ever since childhood and treating him differently from the others in the family. And it was in that anger that the grandson, in fact, he's said to have stabbed his grandfather more than 70 times. The mother, that is the daughter of Mr. Janardhan Rao, had tried to intervene, and she also suffered stab injuries, after which she has been admitted to a hospital and is said to be in a serious condition. This young man has been arrested and sent now to judicial remand as well.
All right. Thank you for getting us all those details. We'll keep coming back to you on these developing stories, Uma. Let's move on now. This is a development from Manipur. Of course, the Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh stepped down from his post following a meeting with Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi and tendered his resignation to Governor Ajay Balla soon after reaching Imphal. All these developments taking place yesterday. As per norms, the caretaker Chief Minister can continue in office until a new Chief Minister is appointed or the assembly is dissolved, Divya.
Right. The big question is who takes over from Biren Singh. Citing the ethnic violence that broke out almost 2 years ago, 21 months to be precise, and now around 12 MLAs have been strongly pushing for a change in God, a change as far as leadership is concerned. And there are around 6 fence sitters as far as party sources are concerned, adding that the Speaker and the Chief Minister have had